Chapter 3. Syngamy-Driven Meiosis. Deeply in thought, Everin strolls along the old cracked cement walkway that leads to the school entrance. From behind, she hears quick footsteps and suddenly she gets lifted up in the air. Irritated and ready to lash out, she looks down into Corin's smiling face.
"Hey, beautiful!"
Corin exclaims as he holds up Everin in the air. He lets her down gently to kiss her. Everin struggles to free herself from Corin, furious and at the same time satisfied to find a target to let out her anger.
"Stop that.
She hisses.
I hate it when you twirl me around like a fan towel. Get your hands off me, you ape!"
She pushes him away and walks on without him. Corin is perplexed.
"What did I do?"
He raises his palms in innocent bewilderment.
"Everin, wait.
He reaches her in 3 athletic steps and gently puts his arm around her.
I'm sorry, Everin.
Everin shakes his arm off and marches on, fuming at no one in particular.
Baby, slow down. What's the matter? Or am I again too stupid to understand?"
Don't start that with me now, Corin. We really need to.
Everin's voice breaks as she looks away from her friend.
What happened?
He takes her hand, slowing down Everin's angry march.
Everin, please, tell me.
Everin desperately tries to keep control of herself.
Do not let go. Not now. We need to focus on the exam. It's okay.
She snuffles, trying to give Corin a smile.
Pris gave me a ride to school, and she got me upset about nothing really.
She lies in a casual tone and holds her breath, hoping Corin would just let it go.
Yeah, she can do that.
Corin nods compassionately. They silently walk along holding hands.
I'm sorry, Corin. I'm just not in a good mood today. The exam and all.
She reaches up and kisses him quickly.
But thanks for the lift.
She smiles, trying his wits.
The lift? But Pris brought you. Oh, I get it.
You're really getting better, Corin. You just watch and soon your sister's humbug won't stick to you anymore.
Everin encourages Corin whenever possible to sharpen his thinking skills, and right now it distracts her from her own mental chaos.
Hey, Corin!
A very tall crow leans against the entrance fountain and waves him in. Other crows and ames are standing around him, talking agitatedly. Corin walks over with Everin by his side as the crow tells him,
"Training's canceled today."
What?
Corin shouts in disbelief.
Kyron, you're kidding me, right?
He stares at his best flanker, but Kyron frowns and asks surprised.
"Haven't you heard about the terrorist attack on the Winslow Industrial Park?"
So?
Corin fails to see the connection.
"The cops have closed off the whole area, including our playing field. No one gets in or out until further notice."
No.
Corin replies, decidedly waving his finger in negation.
No. We have to practice.
He insists.
What did Coach say?
He said sorry, but no sorry.
Kyron shrugs his shoulders.
No training as long as the cops have sealed off the area.
This lazy.
Corin grunts. Leaving Everin's embrace, he squares up in front of his friends and teammates, hands on his hips.
Listen up. We have the finals game in 2 days.
Corin's eyes lock theirs with his intent gaze. His voice falls half an octave as he calmly addresses them.
You know that the Okara Surfers had us the last time. The only team we have not beaten in our district.
Corin's teammates uncomfortably shift their positions at the thought of their past humiliation. He raises his voice.
But we will beat them this time.
Fists pumped in the air. He continues.
We are hungrier, better, faster. They'll never know what hit them.
His winning mindset and the tone of his commanding voice ignite hope in his friends. They listen to his every word.
But
the kids stare at his extended index finger.
We need to get the new plays down. We need to practice. Never mind the pads. We do non-contact walkthroughs.
Corin points at a bulky Emma.
You get some discs.
In quick succession, he points at other players around him.
Devrin and Miha, you get the full team list from coach and inform the others on call me. We will practice. Location to be determined. Go, go, go!
Devrin is so amazed by Corin's behavior that she forgets her worries about Pris for a moment. Standing back with folded arms, she observes a changed crow. She has never seen him act like this, like he is in charge. Yes, on the field, he is the uber-talented center fielder with absolute authority. But she never would have thought that his skills extend beyond the game itself. Corin turns back to Chiron as the others hurry off to do what he asked.
Chiron, ask around. We need D.
His chain of thought hits a major snag as he sees Arya clasping her arm around Chiron's waist. On the other side, the Len Persian rests her hand on Chiron's shoulder, waiting for Corin's instructions. Desperately trying to pull his thoughts free, Corin takes his surprised gaze off Arya's sweet face and focuses on Chiron.
We need a large empty parking lot or something.
You could practice out at Hammond Drive?
Arya suggests. Everyone looks at her. She blushes and explains,
Actually, I passed the old Patter car wash yesterday. It's abandoned.
That's a long drive.
Chiron objects, but his Len friend Persian pats him on the shoulder.
No, it's perfect.
Persian turns to Corin.
You need a place where nobody picks up on your plays.
She tells him,
Having a whole Discord team practice on a downtown parking lot will definitely raise attention.
Yeah, when you are on top, everybody wants your secrets.
Corin grunts affirmatively.
Now, if there only would be an open area in the city where no one is watching.
Persian puts on a show of deep concentration. Her arrogant intellectual superiority annoys Corin.
Okay, get to the point.
He snarls impatiently.
The answer is no.
Persian hurriedly replies, giving up her smart attitude.
However, out on Hammond Drive, no one is looking. No one cares what we're doing.
Persian starts to rack up argument after argument.
I get it.
Corin looks around, trying to evade Arya's eyes. This aim seriously makes him nervous, standing there in her natural beauty, with nothing but earnest interest in solving the problem at hand. Corin fleetingly remembers her soft touch last night.
Can you please be more disinteresting?
He thinks desperately.
Okay.
Corin has made up his mind.
2:00 sharp, at the Patter car wash on Hammond Drive. I need everybody there.
Cool, a flash mob.
Persian high-fives Arya. Corin is absorbed by the upcoming free practice and tells Chiron,
We need to practice the option route tree in Eagle X35 under no wiggle, and in the block section of our Cassaton special, the flanker needs to—
Evren steps forward decisively, taking Corin's head between her hands. His uneasy gaze shifts from Chiron to Evren.
Corin, take a time out.
She says softly.
Yes, you will have practice. After school. Right now, I need you to focus on something else.
The exam, right?
Corin nods, still thinking about his Discord team.
Yes, the exam. Kinda important for you too, isn't it? When you pass that one, you got enough points for your scholarship.
Corin takes a long deep breath, then exhales the air slowly through pouted lips.
Okay, Len Mom, I got you.
He takes Evren's hands, glances at his arm clip and grins at her.
It's 106 steps to the classroom.
He exclaims.
We got a full tank of knowledge, half a pack of pencils. It's too bright, and we have no sunglasses.
Whatever, dude.
Evren snorts, raising her eyebrow. Sometimes his and her references were not on the same level. She jumps up to chest bump him with all her might.
Let's do this.
Evren's slender body bounces right off Corin, who stands unmoved. He lets out his pregame rallying cry.
Dominate on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Dominate.
Arya stands in line with the others, waiting to get her arm clip deactivated before entering the exam classroom. Slowly, she moves ahead, talking to her friend Persian.
So, how was your visit? All good?
Yeah, my Grand Crow is doing okay after the surgery. If they'd only let him be. My Len Mom lets him do these bullshit exercises. Just leave that poor crow alone. They have a nice place at the Trinity Outlet. Good for fishing. That's all he wants.
Persian sighs.
How was your weekend?
She asks Arya in a casual tone.
It was cool. Good party.
Arya replies cautiously.
So I heard.
Persian says, awaiting Arya's reaction.
Yeah, the wind was nice, and the fire.
Arya's voice trails off. She never was a good liar.
Arya.
Persian shakes her head and lowers her voice.
You seriously wanted to hook up with Corin? That knucklehead? I get why Evren was in it. She's a cool Len. But him? And what about Chiron? He is Corin's best flanker. Their chemistry.
Nothing happened.
Arya hisses back under her breath. She reaches her arm clip out to touch the terminal, which turns from red to green.
I know, but from what I heard, you tried really hard.
Persian whispers back, relentlessly pushing Arya's confession. Arya takes a deep breath and cuts off their talk.
Let's talk later, please?
Quickly, she walks off to her desk in the back of the classroom. Each student desk features a display embedded on its surface. Currently, the desks are arranged in a U shape with a central projector in the middle of the room. Arya sits down and folds her hands nervously, trying to focus on the upcoming test. She knows biology better than most students, and accordingly, her personal test questions will be more difficult.
Sometimes I wish I'd been born as a crow.
She frowns at her perceived inequality.
I should act more stupid.
She muses cleverly, but then realizes that the drop-off in performance would inevitably sound warning bells in the local school board AI, and there would be meetings with her parents, with the school's psychological advisor, making recovery plans and goals. Controlled access to her arm clip until the crisis is averted. She knew of a Len who dropped out of school, stressed out by all this loving care.
It's just not fair.
Arya sighs to herself and looks up from her hands. The older Len teacher just closed the door and now walks to an elevated desk at the front side of the room.
Gentle crows, dear Amma and precious Len,
She greets the students.
would you please take your seats now? Thank you.
Her demeanor seems neutral, though slightly bored. With a grunt, she sits down and surveys the students. Her own arm clip swipes over the inlaid screen in her desk.
Okay, Casseton General School, there we are. Supervising teacher, Len Mickles. Subject, biology. Exam, 3.10.
Slowly, she unlocks the secure subdirectories and acknowledges each security level with a quick, exaggerated swipe of her arm clip that rocks her whole body. In the back of the room, Everin lets out an aggravated sigh and whispers to a Len at the next desk.
Someone should tell her that it's not the speed of the swipe. Looks like she's fighting some kind of end-level boss.
The Len tries to conceal a snort as the teacher looks over, sensing their disrespect. She taps her desk and a new holographic display pops up. Slowly but methodically, she proceeds to release the last security apps. With her eyes focused on the small hologram, she says,
As funny as I may look to you, you will look to your children.
in her experience, that usually shuts them up. She looks around and notes their thoughtful, quiet faces.
K's in point, works like a charm.
Finally, she clears her throat and addresses the class.
We're all set and ready to go. You'll have 90 minutes to complete the questions. You know the drill. Results should be in your Q-mail tomorrow.
She frowns and continues quietly.
Let's hope they don't draw all the tokens for the security shield again. Well, we'll see.
Everin exhales deeply as her personal display pops up on her desk. A list of 36 questions appears. Routinely, she checks the credits given for each question and starts with the simplest question first.
Everin, explain the Syngamy-Driven model of meiosis.
Everin visualizes herself sitting in her room, gazing at the biology holograms on her desk. Her mind flips fast forward until her memories reach the important bits. An infographic forms as a mental image before her, depicting the fusion of 3 cells into one larger cell. But through the form of the new cell, Priz's face appears, gaining sharpness, gradually overlaying the text about the evolutionary triumph of 3-gamete fusion.
Pris, what have we done? And what do you mean you changed physically? How far is she? What do I tell Corin? And my mom's.
All the hard work Everin put in to ace this exam seems to dissipate into nothingness. The mental images of 3 intertwined nucleic acid strands morph into Priz's braids, and Everin again experiences Priz's painfully contorted facial expression when she broke down in her arms.
Meiosis.
Everin starts writing.
Is the combination of mitotic cells. No, wait. Was it mitosis? With gametes?
Everin is lost. Instead, she sees Corin's begging eyes again.
Everin, please, tell me.
His plea echoes in Everin's mind as she begins to write.
The mitotic model of gametes.
Corin, how long does the AMA carry the fetus?
The question mark innocently hangs in the air over the display.
Hells if I know.
Corin quietly mutters.
At least it's multiple choice, right?
He motivates himself.
So let's see. 3 months? Nah. Amma Aunt Licia was home longer than that.
Corin tries to relate to all the bits and pieces of information that he and Everin crammed into his brain the last weeks.
6 months? 9 months or 12 months? 12 months seems too long. I'll go with 9, sounds about right.
He taps in the answer and continues.
Arya, what is the function of the phospholipase C-zeta after completion of the final stage of triple gamete fusion?
Easy.
Arya is in her zone and her fingers fly over the display.
PLC zeta is the smallest known isoform in the family of agamete-specific phospholipases, exclusively associated with amigamete. Homology modeling of target template association shows that PLC zeta.
Evren, please explain the major environmental impact on the evolution of triple gamete reproduction.
Triple gamete reproduction. I know this.
Evren checks the time and is shocked at how long it took her to answer the questions up to now. She starts typing.
The ecological circumstances that led to triple gamete reproduction.
Echo. The letters jump out of the sentence she just wrote, hypnotizing Evren with their shape.
What will the ecos do to Pris?
She muses.
She's too stubborn to obey, but she seems seriously scared, like I've never seen her before.
Evren tries to sort the bits of information about Pris, ignoring the gentle swell of the question mark on the display. An hour later, an exhausted Corin braces his head with both hands as the last set of questions pops up.
Corin, why should Len mothers provide milk as soon as possible to the newborn child?
That's a rough one.
Corin's brows furrow wildly as he contemplates this question.
You've told me about it when we hung out at Pris's place.
He cherishes the fond memories of that day and what happened later that night. He remembers his playful banter with Evren's tits, playing off the joke. As soon as possible.
That was the first time we made out, full circle, 2 moons ago.
Memories surge over Corin's mind like an unstoppable tidal wave. His skin recalls the warm ripples of their bodies, their scents blending into one, legs entwined.
Get back! Get back!
Corin chastises himself, shaking his head to get rid of those memories. For now.
Why's it so important?
Corin thinks.
Do newborns die of starvation that fast? Probably not. Think, Corin, think.
And on went the questions. Exhausting 90 minutes that demanded all they had. At the end, a gong sounds and all student displays shut down at the same time.
Well, that went well for most of you.
The teacher informs them as she screens the school AI conclusion on their personal achievements.
Remember, we will meet on Friday in the parking lot. The bus will take us directly to the carbon plant.
She shouts after the students who are already leaving the classroom, glad to put the exam behind them.
Evren.
The teacher motions her near as Evren passes the teacher's desk. Evren cringes at the call of her name. Her head shoots around to gaze at her teacher.
What happened?
The teacher gently asks, looking into her eyes for answers.
I can't. I'm sorry.
Tears start to fall on the floor as Evren lowers her head.
It's okay, honey, it's okay.
The teacher closes her display and slowly walks her out of the classroom.
Do you want me to grant you a leave of absence? You do not look too well.
She worries.
No, thank you. I get by.
Evren replies in a monotonous voice. Outside the classroom, she activates her arm clip again and mechanically studies her timetable. As if caught in a dream, she merely observes herself walking toward the others in the hall. She spots Corin, who discusses some new wrinkles in their Discord plays with his friends. Behind them, Arya and Perjan are engaged in a quiet but intense talk. Corin notices Evren and is immediately worried about her pale and drawn face. He quickly steps toward her and bows intimately down to her face.
What's the matter, Angel?
He whispers.
I blew it.
Evren replies quietly as she walks past Corin. The shrill ringing in her ears gets louder, making everything around her sound surreal.
Evren, wait!
Corin's words echo in Evren's ears. The soft touch of Corin's hand on her shoulder feels like an electrical shock. Her body twitches, but she tries to keep going. The ceiling lights pulsate. The walls seem to tilt, soft and relenting to her every footstep. The floor feels like wool batting. The ringing in her ears intensifies to a screaming howl, like a banshee seeking release from a prison of pain. Oh my!
Oh my, that is all you have to say?